In this exercise, you will create a new dimension style for the elevation drawing and apply the dimension style in model space. You can see the result of the dimensions on the screen here right now. I'm going to begin by opening up my elevations drawing, and I'm going to create a new layer. I'll type in layer to get to the layers property manager here, and that new layer is going to be called DIMS, and it will have a magenta color, which is purple, and it'll have a continuous line type and a default line weight. I'll go ahead and set that DIMS layer to be current. I'll close my layer property manager. I'm going to now change my unit precision by typing in units. Notice we set our precision earlier to be 0 feet 0 inches. I'm going to change that to have a precision of a 1/16 of an inch. And the reason I'm doing that is so that I can enter text values of a 1/16 of an inch or greater in my dimension style manager. So I'll say OK here, and then I'll go into my dimension style manager, and I can do that a couple of ways. I can get to it from the Home tab by going to the Annotate and clicking on the Dimension Style Manager here. That will get me the Dimension Style Manager. Or if I go to the Annotate tab and then the Dimensions panel, and I click on the little down arrow in the bottom right corner, that will also get me to the Dimension Style Manager. I'm going to type in dim style at the command line. That gets me to the same Dimension Style Manager. Notice that the current dimension style is the standard dimension style, and it's the only one that I have to choose from. So I'm going to hit new here and create a new dimension style. I'm going to call this dimension style Model Dim, and I'm going to start with the standard dimension style. I'll say continue here, and then I'll go to my lines tab at the top, and I'll change all of my dimension lines and my extension lines to be by layer. And the reason I do this is because I want my layers to control the line type and the color and so forth for all of my dimension lines and my extension lines. That maintains the consistency that I'm looking for. I'm going to go to the Symbols and Arrows tab, and I'll change my arrowheads to architectural tick, and notice that they can be arrowheads, they can be dots, they can be integrals. I'm going to go with the architectural tick with an arrow size of 3/16 of an inch. I'll then go to my text tab, and I'm going to create a new text style here by hitting on the little ellipsis button. And my new text style will be called dim text. Notice I'm creating a new text style within the Dimension Style Manager. I'll say OK. It's going to have an Arial font, and notice the height is 0 right now. If I hit close, there's my new text style. It's called dim text. And you'll note that I left my height at 0, and the reason that I did that is because I can select my dim text here, and I can change my text height in the Dimension Style Manager to be 3/16 of an inch, which is what I want. I'll also change my text color to be by layer. And then I'll go ahead and go to the Fit tab, and I'll change the scale for my dimension features to use an overall scale of 48. And remember that the scale of this drawing is 1/4 inch equals a foot. So the scale factor of this drawing would ask the question, how many 1/4 inches are there in 1 foot? Well, there's 12 inches in a foot, and there's 4 1/4 inches in 1 inch. So 4 times 12 is 48. I'll go ahead and select the Primary Units tab. I'm going to change my linear dimension unit format to architectural with the precision of 0 feet 0 inches. I'm done creating my new dimension style called Model Dim, so I'll say OK here at the bottom, and then I'll set it current, and I'll close out my Dimension Style Manager. I'm now ready to apply that new dimension style with my dimensions to my drawing. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on my drawing. I'm also going to move it up just a bit so there's space for my dimensions. I can use the Move command here. I'll select the entire elevation, and then I'll move it up 5 feet. Notice Model Dim is my current dimension style. I'm going to use the linear dimension style, and there are quite a few options: aligned, angular, arc, radius, diameter, jogged, and ordinate. I'll use linear. I could also type in dim linear at the command line to get to it. I'm going to dimension the width of my door here, and it should be 3 feet. It is. I'm also going to dimension the width of my garage, and to do this I just pick 2 points, click and click, and then I pull down that dimension and click again to place it. I want to line it up with this current dimension so my spacing is consistent, and I can do that with my object snaps and object snap tracking. My last dimension, the overall dimension, I'm going to apply in a similar way, except that instead of picking the 2 points, I'm going to hit enter. And what that does is it changes my crosshairs to a pick box, and then all I need to do is to select that line. Click, and I can pull down that dimension and place it at a location that I want. Click. Now, if you're not happy with the spacing, you can always select the dimension, grab that center grip on the dimension itself, and pull it down. Likewise here, I can select that grip, pull it down, line it up, and I can do the same thing with this dimension. I can stretch it down and place it. My final dimension is the wall here. It's a vertical dimension, which will also use the linear dimension, but this time I'm going to do it with the quick dimension. Quick dimension, or QDim at the command line. This immediately gives me a pick box. I'll select that line, I'll hit enter when I'm done selecting objects, and then I'll pull the line back. And notice wherever I place it, click, it applies that dimension. So it is a little faster. And that completes the dimensions for my elevation drawing in Model Space.